The skies above Seoul darkened unnaturally on what had been a clear summer day. Dr. Park Ji-won looked up from her quantum communication device, feeling that something was wrong. Strange objects appeared in the sky, huge ships with rough, shell-like surfaces that blocked the sunlight. "Are we getting any answers to our messages?" she asked her friend, Captain Kim Tae-hyun. "Nothing," he said, his voice tight with worry. Military bases around the world report the same silence. The first attack hit Tokyo. The second destroyed Los Angeles. By nightfall, every major city on Earth lay in ruins. Billions of people died. In hours, the aliens, who they would later learn called themselves the HFY, attacked with perfect planning, hitting communication centers and research buildings with scary accuracy. From the safety of the Moon Research Station, Dr. Park watched as her world burned. But she noticed something important. The aliens weren't attacking randomly. They specifically targeted places working on quantum connection technology. "They fear something we've discovered," she whispered to herself. Dr. Park had been working on a way for humans to communicate instantly across any distance using paired particles. Her team had made a breakthrough just 3 days before the attack. Now she wondered if that discovery had somehow triggered this invasion. Captain Kim gathered a small team of survivors and managed to escape Earth with Dr. Park's research data. Their small ship barely avoided the alien fighters. As they joined with the moon station, Kim's face showed grim determination. "They hit us first," he said quietly. "That was their mistake." The next days passed in horror and confusion. The aliens landed on Earth and began building bases. They looked like giant insects walking on 2 legs, with hard outer shells and multiple arms. They wore special suits when outside their ships, suggesting Earth's environment wasn't comfortable for them. Dr. Park worked day and night studying the limited information they had. "Their ships use a form of gravity control we've only theorized about," she told the other survivors. "But their weapons, while advanced, follow principles we understand." 1 week after the attack, they intercepted a message between alien ships. The language was strange, with clicks and humming sounds, but their computers began to analyze patterns. "Think they're saying containment complete," said Choi Yunha, their language expert. "They're talking about us like we're a problem they've solved." Captain Kim refused to accept defeat. He organized the survivors, establishing contact with hidden pockets of resistance on Earth using old radio technology the aliens didn't monitor closely. "We need to understand why they attacked," Dr. Park insisted. "Knowledge is our best weapon now." A breakthrough came when a small team managed to capture a damaged alien scout ship. The pilot died from injuries, but they had their first chance to examine both HFY biology and technology up close. "Look at this brain structure," Dr. Park said, showing her findings to the others. "It's designed for constant connection to others of its kind. I think they operate as a group mind." Lee Minho, their engineer, examined the alien ship with growing excitement. "Their technology is amazing, but not magic. We can learn from this, maybe even use it." Through bits of translated information and study of the alien corpse, they discovered something chilling. Earth wasn't the HFY's first target. The aliens had destroyed 17 other developing civilizations before finding Earth. "They call themselves gardeners," Choi explained after translating more messages. "They believe they're protecting the galaxy by removing any species that might someday compete with them." Captain Kim called a meeting of all survivors they could contact. Representatives joined by secure video from hidden bases on Earth and Mars. The mood was dark, but Kim spoke with fire in his eyes. "The HFY think they've beaten us," he said. "They believe humans are like the other species they've destroyed, that will surrender and die. They don't understand what they've awakened." Dr. Park shared her findings about the aliens' biology and their apparent sensitivity to Earth bacteria. "They wear protection suits for a reason. Our world is naturally hostile to them. So we have an advantage they don't expect," Kim said, nodding. "And we have something else too. They attacked without warning, without trying to talk. That means they fear us. Something about humans scares them." The meeting ended with a new sense of purpose. Humanity had been knocked down but not defeated. They would study their enemy, learn their weaknesses, and find a way to fight back. As the survivors left to begin their work, Captain Kim looked at the distant Earth through a viewport, its night side now dark where city lights once shined. They attacked Earth first, he said softly. We'll make sure they never dare attack anyone again. 6 months after the attack, humanity was still alive. Small groups of people lived in hidden places all over Earth and Mars. Captain Kim had created a network of fighters who shared information using old radio systems that the aliens couldn't easily find. The survivors called it the Whisper Network. Every day they learned more about their enemy. They discovered that the aliens, the HFY, had a serious weakness. They couldn't breathe Earth's air without special masks. Our bacteria made them sick. Their bodies have never evolved to fight Earth germs, Dr. Park explained during a secret meeting. What gives us a small cold could kill them. This was why the HFY soldiers always wore protective suits when they left their ships. It was their first weakness, but not their only one. Lee Minho had been studying the alien ship they captured. He found something interesting about how it worked. Their technology depends on their connection to each other, he said. They think as a group, and their machines work the same way. Cut the connection and the machine stops working. Captain Kim nodded slowly. So if we can break their communication, we can defeat them. The resistance grew stronger each day. Humans were good at hiding, at surviving in harsh conditions. The HFY had expected everyone to give up after the first attack. They didn't understand human stubbornness. One night, a team led by Captain Kim attacked a small alien outpost near Old Beijing. They used the knowledge Dr. Park had given them, wearing masks to protect against the biological weapons they carried. Simple human bacteria, grown in labs and concentrated. The attack succeeded. They killed the aliens and captured important computer devices. Choi Yuna worked for weeks to translate the information. I found something, she said finally. Her face was pale. The HFY. They've done this before. Many times. She showed them pictures of other worlds, other species, all destroyed by the HFY. 17 civilizations wiped out because they might one day become threats. They call themselves the Gardeners of Order, Choi explained. They believe it's their duty to remove any species that might someday compete with them in space. Dr. Park studied the information about the other species with growing anger. None of them fought back effectively. The HFY strategy worked. Every time, hit hard, hit fast, give the enemy no time to learn or adapt. But they've never faced humans before, said Captain Kim. We're different. The biggest discovery came 3 months later. A team exploring a destroyed HFY base found a damaged but working communication device. Dr. Park recognized it immediately. This works like our quantum communicator, she said with excitement. The technology they feared, they use themselves. Lee studied it carefully. It's similar but different. They use it to maintain their hive mind across space. Each HFY is connected to all others. This explained why the aliens moved with such perfect coordination. They weren't individuals making decisions, they were parts of one giant mind. Can we use this against them? Captain Kim asked. Maybe, said Dr. Park, if we can understand it better. Their chance came when a small HFY ship crashed near their hidden base on Mars. The pilot survived. It was their first live captive. Doctor. Park approached the injured alien carefully. The HFY looked like a 2-meter-tall ant with 4 arms and a hard outer shell. Without its protective suit, it breathed with difficulty in the human facility. Using the translation work Choi had done, Dr. Park tried to communicate. At first, the alien seemed confused, making clicking sounds that made no sense. It can't think properly, Dr. Park realized. It's cut off from the hive mind. Over several days, the HFY began to develop something the humans hadn't expected: individual personality. Without the constant connection to its kind, it was becoming a separate being. It told them its name was something like Worker Defense Unit 42. The humans called it 42 for short. 42 explained that the HFY queens controlled everything. The Queens had seen humans' quantum communication experiments and recognized that humans might soon be able to reach other stars. Queens say, "Dangerous species must not spread." 42 clicked. "All 17 before you tried to fight. All failed. We won't fail," Captain Kim said firmly. As they learned more from their captive, a plan began to form. The Keth Vari had a central weakness. Their connected mind could be their downfall. "If we can disrupt their queens," Dr. Park suggested, "the entire species might lose direction." Captain Kim gathered the resistance leaders. "We know their weaknesses now. They can't handle our bacteria. They depend on their mental connection. And most importantly, they underestimate us." The humans began preparing for war. Not just to defend, but to attack. Lee modified alien weapons to work for human hands. Dr. Park developed stronger biological weapons that would affect the Keth Vari, but not humans. "They attacked us first," Captain Kim told his fighters. "Now we'll show them why that was the biggest mistake they ever made." 1 year after the invasion, humans were ready to fight back. Captain Kim gathered his fighters at the main base hidden deep in the mountains. They had grown from a small group of survivors to an army of thousands. "Today we stop hiding," he told them. "Today we show the Keth Vari they made a terrible mistake." Dr. Park had created special weapons using Earth bacteria that were harmless to humans but deadly to the aliens. Lee had modified captured alien technology so humans could use it. Every fighter carried both human and alien weapons. The plan was simple, but dangerous. They would attack many Keth Vari bases at the same time. While the aliens were confused, a special team would sneak onto the main alien ship. "Remember, they think as one mind," Dr. Park explained to the special team. "But that makes them slow to react to new things. They don't understand surprise or tricks." Captain Kim led the first attack himself. His team approached a Keth Vari base near Old New York. They wore special suits that hid them from alien sensors. "Ready the bacteria bombs," he ordered. The fighters placed small devices around the base. When activated, these would release clouds of ordinary human bacteria, harmless to people but deadly to the unprotected Keth Vari. Kim pressed the button. The bombs released invisible clouds that floated into the alien base through air vents. Inside, the Keth Vari began to die. Similar attacks happened at 12 other locations around the world at exactly the same time. The Keth Vari, used to thinking as one mind, couldn't respond quickly enough to so many different threats. Meanwhile, Dr. Park led her special team toward the main Keth Vari ship, hovering over what used to be Beijing. They wore suits made from dead Keth Vari skin and hard shells. From a distance, they looked like alien soldiers. "Remember to walk stiffly," Dr. Park reminded her team. "They move like insects, not like humans." The disguise worked. They entered the massive ship through a loading area. Inside, it was hot and humid, perfect for the Keth Vari, but uncomfortable for humans. According to 42, the control center, "He's 3 levels up," whispered Choi, who came along as translator. They moved carefully through the strange ship. The walls looked like they were made of metal but felt soft like skin. The floors pulsed slightly under their feet. "The ship is partly alive," Dr. Park realized. "It's grown, not built." They reached the control center without being discovered. Inside, 5 larger Keth Vari with special markings worked at strange consoles. These weren't regular soldiers. They were sub-queens, directly connected to the main queens on the Keth Vari homeworld. "Now," Dr. Park said. Her team released the special bacteria bombs inside the control room. The sub-queens noticed too late. They tried to reach for weapons, but the invisible bacteria already affected them. They fell to the floor, their breathing raspy and difficult. "Quickly," Dr. Park ordered. "Lee, connect our device to their main computer." Lee attached a small box to the alien console. This was their secret weapon, a modified version of the quantum communicator. Instead of helping communication, this one would disrupt it. "Device active," Lee reported. "It's sending the interference signal." Across Earth, something amazing happened. The Keth Vari soldiers suddenly stopped fighting in coordinated ways. Some froze in place. Others ran around in confusion. They had lost their connection to the hive mind. Captain Kim and his fighters easily defeated the confused aliens. At other bases, the same thing happened. For the first time since the invasion, the humans were winning. "It's working," Choi said excitedly as they watched alien ships in orbit start to drift aimlessly. But then alarms began to sound throughout the ship. A new group of Kethvari soldiers appeared at the entrance to the control room. These ones wore full protection suits. "They've adapted," Dr. Park said. "Faster than we expected." Their team fought hard but was forced to retreat deeper into the ship. They found themselves in a strange room filled with glowing pods. "Look at this," Choi said, examining the nearest pod. Inside was a half-formed Kethvari. "It's a growing chamber. They're making new soldiers here." "Then we destroy it," Captain Kim said through their radio. He and a team had fought their way onto the ship to rescue them. They planted explosives throughout the growing chamber. As they ran for the exit, Lee stopped at a computer terminal. "Wait," he said. "I can access their navigation system from here. We could take control of the ship." "Do it," ordered Captain Kim. Lee worked quickly, connecting their devices to the alien computers. "I've got it. The ship is ours." As they escaped in a small transport craft, they watched the massive Kethvari ship begin to move. Instead of hovering over Beijing, it now flew upward, toward space. "Where did you send it?" Dr. Park asked. Lee smiled. "To attack the other Kethvari ships in orbit. They won't expect one of their own to turn against them." From their small craft, they watched as the huge ship rammed into another alien vessel. Both exploded in a bright flash. "One down," Captain Kim said grimly. "But this is just the beginning. Now we take back our planet." For the first time in a year, humans celebrated a victory. But they knew the real fight was just starting. Somewhere, across the stars, the Kethvari queens would be preparing a new attack. But this time, humans would be ready. After many months of fighting, humans had won back control of Earth. The skies were clear of Kethvari ships, and the alien bases were destroyed or captured. But Captain Kim knew the war wasn't over. "They will come back," he told the leaders of the resistance, "unless we stop them at their source." In a huge underground base that used to be a mining facility, Lee and his team worked on the 3 alien ships they had captured. They studied every part, learning how the strange technology worked. "The ships can travel faster than light," Lee explained during a meeting. "They bend space to move great distances quickly. We can use them to reach the Kethvari homeworld." Dr. Park had also made an important discovery. From studying the alien prisoners and their technology, she created a device that could permanently break the connection between Kethvari and their hive mind. "Without the queens controlling them, they become confused," she said. "They develop individual thoughts. Like our prisoner 42, they can even learn to think for themselves." Captain Kim selected 100 of their best fighters for the mission. They would use the 3 captured ships to travel to the Kethvari home system and deploy Dr. Park's device. "This will be dangerous," he warned the volunteers. "We might not come back, but if we succeed, Earth will be safe." Everyone understood the risk. They spent weeks training to use the alien ships and weapons. Dr. Park, Lee, and Choi would go with the fighter teams. Finally, the day came to leave Earth. The 3 ships rose from the hidden base and accelerated toward the edge of the solar system. "Preparing for space jump," Lee announced from the control station of the lead ship. The view outside the windows changed as stars stretched into lines of light. Then darkness surrounded them. When the ships emerged from the jump, they found themselves in a strange star system with 3 suns. Around the largest sun orbited 7 planets. According to the ship's data, the 4th planet is the Kethvari homeworld, Choi said, reading the alien writing on the screen. But something wasn't right. The system was filled with ships, not just Kethvari vessels, but ships of many different designs. "Careful approach," ordered Captain Kim. "Let's find out what's happening before we reveal ourselves." They moved their ships slowly toward the 4th planet, using the Kethvari ship's own stealth technology to avoid detection. As they got closer, they saw a terrible sight. The Keth-Vari planet was surrounded by prison camps floating in space. Inside these camps were aliens of many different types. Slaves, whispered Dr. Park as they watched through the ship's viewing system. The Keth-Vari didn't just destroy civilizations, sometimes they captured and enslaved them. Captain Kim's face hardened. This changes things. We're not just fighting for Earth anymore. They observed for several days, learning the patterns of ship movements and communications. Choi worked constantly to understand the messages between ships. I found something, she said on the fourth day. Not all these enslaved species are broken. Some are fighting back, but in secret. They call themselves the Hidden Alliance. Can you contact them? Asked Captain Kim. Choi managed to send a secure message to one of the prison stations. The response came quickly. The slaves had been waiting for years for an opportunity to fight back. We need to coordinate, Captain Kim said. A combined attack, from outside and inside. With the help of the Hidden Alliance, they developed a new plan. Dr. Park's device would be even more effective if placed at the central communication hub on the Keth-Vari planet itself. I can get us in, said a creature named Mal, the leader of one enslaved species. Through the communication screen, he looked like a tall, thin being with blue skin and 4 eyes. My people work in the central hub as maintenance workers. The human ships joined with hidden vessels from the Alliance. Together they numbered 20 ships, small compared to the Keth-Vari fleet, but they had surprise on their side. Begin Operation Freedom, Captain Kim ordered. Half the ships attacked the main Keth-Vari defense platforms, drawing attention away from the planet. Meanwhile, Captain Kim's ship landed quietly near the central hub, disguised as a supply vessel. Dr. Park, Captain Kim, and a small team left the ship, wearing stolen Keth-Vari worker suits. Mal and his people met them at a secret entrance. The Queens are in the center of the hub, Mal explained. They almost never leave. They control everything from there. They moved through dark tunnels under the main buildings. The Keth-Vari world was hot and humid with strange plants growing everywhere. Even through their protective suits, the humans felt uncomfortable. Finally, they reached the central chamber. Through a window, they saw 5 massive Keth-Vari, each 3 times larger than the soldiers. These were the Queens. Set the device here, Dr. Park instructed. It will send the disruption signal throughout the planet and to all connected ships. As Lee prepared the device, alarms suddenly sounded. They had been discovered. Hurry! Captain Kim shouted, as he and the others prepared to defend their position. Keth-Vari guards rushed toward them from all directions. The humans and their alien allies fought desperately, holding the entrance to the chamber. Device active, Lee called out. A wave of invisible energy spread from the device. Inside the chamber, the Queens began to shake and screech. Throughout, the complex Keth-Vari soldiers stopped fighting and looked around in confusion. The plan had worked. The hive mind was broken. Now we free the slaves and take control of their fleet, Captain Kim said. The Keth-Vari reign of terror is over. The battle for the Keth-Vari homeworld lasted 3 days. When it ended, the Queens were captured, and the hive mind was completely broken. Millions of Keth-Vari wandered their cities in confusion, experiencing individual thoughts for the first time. Captain Kim stood on a balcony overlooking the alien capital city. The 3 suns created strange shadows on the tall, organic-looking buildings. Next to him stood Dr. Park, her face showing both triumph and concern. What do we do with them now? She asked quietly. We could destroy them all. After what they did to Earth, many would say they deserve it. Captain Kim watched the confused aliens below. Without the Queen's control, they moved uncertainly, bumping into each other like lost children. If we kill them, we become like them. He said finally, we need to be better than that. Instead of destruction, the humans and their new allies from the Hidden Alliance chose a different path. They would help the Keth-Vari learn to live as individuals. Those who had committed the worst crimes would face justice, but the ordinary workers would have a chance at a new life. In the central control hub, Choi made an amazing discovery. The Keth-Vari kept detailed records of all their activities across thousands of years. The information showed how they had destroyed or enslaved over 50 different species. "Look at this," she called to the others. Star maps showing the locations of all the worlds they attacked. Some might still have survivors. For the next several weeks, they explored the HFY records. They found the locations of dozens of prison camps and slave worlds. The Hidden Alliance grew as they freed more and more species. Lee focused on understanding the advanced HFY technology. "Their faster-than-light drives are amazing," he explained during a meeting. "With these, we can travel anywhere in the galaxy in days instead of years." Dr. Park worked with the former HFY queens, now separated from the hive mind. They were intelligent beings, and some began to show regret for their past actions. "Our ancestors taught us that we must protect the galaxy from dangerous species," one former queen named Trill explained. "We never questioned why. We never thought about the pain we caused." Captain Kim made a difficult decision. "We will help rebuild what the HFY destroyed," he announced to the Alliance leaders. "Earth will not stand alone anymore. We will create something new together." They called it the Galactic Cooperation, not an empire, but a community of different species working together. Earth became the center of this new organization, not because humans conquered the others, but because they had shown mercy when they could have chosen revenge. 50 years passed. The galaxy changed completely. The quantum communication technology that had first drawn the HFY attack became the foundation for a galactic communication network. Species that once fought now worked together. Captain Kim, now an old man with white hair, watched from his home in the rebuilt city of Seoul as his daughter Sora prepared for her first mission as a ship captain. "Are you nervous?" he asked her. "I'm little," she admitted. "The unknown regions are completely unexplored. We might find new civilizations." "Remember what I taught you," he said. "Always try to understand before you judge. Always offer peace before war." Sora nodded. She had grown up in this new galaxy, where humans worked alongside dozens of alien species, including reformed HFY. To her, this diversity was normal. "But also remember Earth's history," Kim continued more seriously. "We must be ready to defend ourselves if needed. The galaxy can be dangerous." The next day, a huge crowd gathered to watch the launch of the exploration fleet. 10 ships, each carrying crews made up of many different species, prepared to journey beyond known space. Dr. Park stood beside Captain Kim. Though elderly now, her mind remained sharp. She had trained a new generation of scientists who combined knowledge from many worlds. "Did you ever think, when we were hiding in that basement after the first attack, that it would lead to this?" she asked him. Kim shook his head. "Never. I just wanted to survive, to make them pay for what they did." "And now look at us," she said, gesturing to the diverse crowd. "Leaders of the galaxy." The ships rose into the sky, their engines glowing brightly. Among them was the flagship, commanded by Captain Sora Kim. Its name was painted proudly on the hull. Second Chance. As the ships disappeared into the blue sky, Captain Kim thought about the long journey from that terrible day of the invasion to this moment of hope. The HFY had attacked Earth first, thinking humans would be easy to defeat like all the others before them. Instead, they had awakened something unexpected, not just humanity's determination to survive, but also its capacity for forgiveness and its vision for a better future. "They attacked Earth first," Captain Kim said softly to himself, repeating the phrase that had kept him fighting all those years ago. "But we ensured that no one would ever dare attack any peaceful world again." "Retry Claude can make mistakes. Please double-check responses,"